DIXSON. This was a nice story. It was a sad story, though, to know that these people felt like they couldn't be, public with what they were doing, their relationship, whether it be the church or not. It's just really sad that they felt like they had to cover up the relationship, hide it, not be open about it, especially I think there was another added level of an age difference. But it was also nice to hear the one character say that, he made him feel again or give him hope again. So really nice script, nice cinematography and music. I really like the close-ups and the camera shots of, when the guy was shooting the gun, and the close-ups of the gun when he was shooting at the can. And also then nice gun close-ups when he was shooting at the deer. Just some really nice moments with the camera work. I like the shot of when the guy was pulling away and the camera was just, pulling away from him, and it was getting blurry. He was getting blurry, and basically made me feel like that whole life was getting blurred out. It was pretty sad story as far as the relationship not being able to be played out. But maybe it was actually one of those that, you think sometimes that when you're in love with somebody, a relationship's supposed to last forever, but maybe it was just one of those where it lasted for a season. I just really liked it, and liked the acting and the script and the location. So great job on all of that, and to everybody that worked on this.
All right, I just finished watching DIXSON, which I thought was quite well done. I enjoyed the sort of thematic undercurrent of the paternal dynamic between the two characters. Obviously, it's a sexual relationship that's being hidden by the older character, but I think that their relationship sort of took on a father-son dynamic early on. In the beginning, it's not quite clear that they're lovers until they get into the trailer, and then later on, as you watch it progress, the earlier sequences makes it seem excuse me, almost indistinguishable from a father-son type of dynamic, which I thought was interesting because later on, obviously it's the older character who appears to be the more childish character, the one who's not yet expressing themselves fully and not truly living in their truth in the way that the younger character is. So I thought that the juxtaposition of their relationship worked well on several levels, not just through the sexual context, but through a sort of a emotional and social context in terms of who they were as people and what this relationship meant. What it meant about themselves, that they were still maintaining this relationship. And I think that towards the end, obviously, the younger character had a realization about those dynamics, and I thought that the piece really built up in a way that felt realistic and grounded, and sort of reflects a lot of what I feel are real-life dynamics with these kind of situations. So I thought it was quite thoughtful, quite introspective from both characters' perspective, and I thought it didn't really pick a side. You could easily see the older character as the more, excuse me, the more lost character, and he did often seem to be the more emotionally wrecked character, but I think that the piece was trying to show a balance between the two of them that I thought worked well, and I thought the piece worked well because the two leads had such great chemistry and were able to balance the emotional range and the sexual range of the relationship in a way that felt realistic. So it was well done for me, and I thought it was an interesting sort of examination of a dynamic that was playing out in secret for both characters, which made it more heightened in terms of the stakes. So I ended up enjoying it.
I really like DIXSON. It was emotional. It was a great romance, yo. The tragedy, a tragic romance, I guess. I thought the actors were great. I thought the cinematography was stellar, like Hollywood level, like cinematic. Yeah. I thought the story was great writing. It was a good example of like you as the filmmaker have all the cards and all the knowledge and being intentional about what thing you reveal and the things you reveal in what order for the most emotional impact. I think this was a great example of doing that well. Yeah, really well done. Good job.
DIXSON was really interesting. I think there was something almost Brokeback Mountain-esque to it for me, and it may just be the story of unrequited love and never being able to fully actualize this this relationship due to extenuating circumstances with age and with the church and with the way they're raised. And I think all of it adds up together. But I think it was a really touching and compelling and heartbreaking story in the same way. So I mean that as the fullest compliment. Camera-wise, I think there were a lot of choices that you did within these specific shots that were really interesting and added to this almost like teary-eyed and misty effect to all of it, and things fading in and out. And I think you did a great job of that within these transitions. I think the storyline was really heartbreaking, and I think it was acted out very, very well. Yeah, it was just a really touching, heartbreaking piece overall, and just very, very well done.
This is not the story I expected. At first, the relationship between the two characters seemed like a father-son relationship to me, so it really became a twist that this ended up being a love story that began to take place. You can tell that this relationship is at its breaking point as the older man has a drinking problem and his partner is over it. Over the secrets and the lies, he wants to be open and free with their relationship. So this dives really into the differences in the generations of the gay community and the complexities within these relationships with larger age gaps. This hits close to home, reminding me of my hometown. Hunting is such a masculine sport. I rather enjoy this exploration of a storyline within the LGBTQ community. It's not often you're watching a romance movie with a hunting getaway date involved. It was rather gritty, raw, and masculine, but loving, and saying goodbye is hard sometimes.
DIXSON was so heartbreaking. It was this, these star-crossed lovers almost, and it was complicated because you could feel the love, but you could also feel so much resistance between them for so many different reasons. And, oh man, at the end, that scene with him driving away and just watching him leave. And I loved that last look of like acceptance. And because you're kind of watching him and like, what is he going to do? Is he going to break down? Is he going to become kind of stone-faced and numb and walk away? Is he going to feel regret? Is he going to feel relief? And that moment of just like acceptance and like, this is what it is. I'm okay with that. It's not what I want, but like, this is the choice that I've made and I'm going to live with it. I thought was really, really powerful. I liked a lot of the way a lot of the way the scenes were set up, in terms of the framing, like all of the shooting kind of shots and just like the close up, you could feel the tension and the hesitation and all of that. And I think that having the gun shooting as part of it was really smart, because I feel like that also represented like just the like tight tension that we feel between these characters at all times. And then finally that like release when he shoots it and it goes through the can, or he shoots it and he gets the deer. It's kind of like there's so much tension that like finally it breaks whenever he's able to hit something. So yeah, I thought this was really well done. I thought it was very well performed and just a beautiful, sad story.
This review is for DIXSON. I like the heartbeat effect and the violin through the story. They have very nice cinematography out there in the woods, the scenery, and amazing performances. It is a very sad story, but a nice, empowering ending where each character had their own personality, their own limitations, their own very deeply emotional scope. I enjoyed it a lot.